Hello, students of Cochise College. My name is Lauren Gladwell, and I am an academic and career advisor. This is the third video in a series of videos meant to help you, a current or prospective Cochise College student, prepare to register for classes at Cochise College. In this video, we will be discussing the third step, which is placement testing. Before you can take any courses at Cochise College, you must first know in which courses you are able to begin. This can be determined by a number of different placement procedures. The first and most common is placement testing. When determining where a student needs to begin, an advisor will look at three areas: English composition, reading proficiency, and math. English composition is important because English composition is part of the general education requirements for any degree. Reading proficiency is important because even though reading classes are not considered part of the general education requirements, many of those classes within those requirements, such as psychology, sociology, or humanities, do require reading proficiency. Math is important because just like English composition, math is part of the general education requirements for any degree. Placement testing for these three subjects are split into two categories. For English and reading, you will do what is called a directed self-placement, or a DSP. DSP is not a test or exam per se. What it is more of a survey asking you about your past composition and reading experiences. This gives the student an honest assessment of what they've done before and therefore what they need going forward. In order to do a directed self-placement, you must first be admitted to the college and have access to your MyCochise portal. Once that is done and you are ready to take the directed self-placements, go to www.cochise.edu/DSP. Here, you will first need to answer 4 questions, which are used to determine if a student is in need of English as a second language courses, or ESL courses. If you are not, you will then be presented with the English and Reading DSP links. You complete these DSPs through your MyCochise through our online classroom called Moodle. Once your directed self-placements are completed, your score is sent to the testing center, who will put it into our banner systems for your advisor to see. Your advisor will then be able to advise you on which areas you need to be placed regarding English and reading. For English, you can be placed into English 095, English 096, or the highest placement of English 101. For reading, you can be placed into Reading 020, Reading 092, or the highest placement, which is Reading Exempt, meaning that you don't need any reading classes. The math placement is not done through a directed self-placement, but rather it is done through a more traditional AccuPlacer placement exam. To do this exam, it is on an appointment basis with the testing center. If you happen to be a student who doesn't live in Arizona and you need to take this AccuPlacer remotely, you are allowed to do so. You will just want to make sure you work out those details with the testing center. To set up an AccuPlacer exam for math, you will go to www.cochise.edu/testing. From here, you will go to Schedule a Test, where you will be able to choose to schedule to take the test in Sierra Vista or in Douglas, whichever campus is closest to you. Once you are in the actual scheduling form, the first thing you need to do is choose the exam group. This is the placement test, so you need to choose placement exam. Next, you will need to choose the exam itself. For this placement exam, you will choose math only placement. You will then be able to choose the date and time, followed by your contact information and any disability information if an accommodation is needed. Once you get to the end of the scheduling form, be sure to carefully read the testing rules. For example, you cannot bring any personal items, especially cell phones, to your testing appointment. If you can, leave it in the car. Also, in order to take the placement test, you need to have your student ID to be able to present it to whoever is running the center on that day. if you have not yet gotten your student ID, you can get one for free if it's your first time getting one from any admission office on whichever of the campuses. The other possible placement procedure is called multiple measures placement. Under this procedure, if you're a student who has graduated from high school within the last 3 years, an advisor may be able to use your high school transcript to place you into English, reading, and math. Or if you've ever taken the ACT or the SAT, an advisor may possibly be able to place you according to those scores. There are a lot of rules involved with multiple measures placement. So, as a rule of thumb, it's always best to just take the directed self-placements and the Math AccuPlacer just to make sure that all your bases are covered. However, if there's just no way for you to do any of those placements, when you come to see your advisor, be sure to bring your high school transcript or your SAT or ACT scores. If you don't do placement testing, and if you don't bring one of those other possibilities for placement, your meeting with your advisor is going to be very, very short. And those are the placement procedures, arguably the most important step in preparing to register for classes. This brings us to the end of this video. In the next video, we will discuss how to set up an appointment to meet with your advisor and finally register for your classes. Until then, be safe, stay healthy, and keep learning.